AMC is up 16% on the day, and I took some profits with some call contracts. A lot of shorts are covering going into CPI tomorrow, and this is exactly the pump that you are seeing across the board in certain stocks that are easily heavily shorted by short sellers. But why are they covering going into CPI? Do they know something, or is it just in case? And if it's just in case, are they that close to margin calls? Are they that heavy in a liquidity crisis? What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Stay till the end of the video so you don't have to watch another video here on YouTube. We are going to be covering everything that there is to know for today, the full update, and finally preparing ourselves for tomorrow. All I ask in return is for you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So of course you guys can see that AMC got a solid bounce right here, and if we bring the drawings in, this correlates exactly to these red cycles that we've been tracking. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know that these are the most accurate cycles that play out with AMC. It times dips and it times rips, and the same exact point in this cycle every single time you see a little bit of a pop. You saw a 35% gain, 52, 38, saw a pop back here right before the June rally, and this is important because the June rally at this time frame in the cycle right here is when it actually took off and we broke the algorithms once, taking us all the way up to around $77 with AMC. It's tough to say will that happen for certain or not. If we play out the way these cycles have been playing out, then AMC is going to get a little bit of a pop for today, maybe even part of tomorrow, before selling off even harder than where it was at. However, based on how these short sellers are actually doing behind the scenes, we could see another June start to happen. Now, heading into what is supposed to be a bad earnings season for banks, for major central banks, AMC sitting at a high cost to borrow, getting a 16% rally, there is definitely a possibility you see another June, if not even higher. Not only that, but you do have the vote coming up. And the reason for that is because we have the January 20th expiration coming up as well, with 500,000 call contracts. If AMC did choose to continue to run, we actually do have a good shot, and I'm not even sugarcoating that. Now, tomorrow is going to be a very important, volatile day. CPI estimates from major banks range from 6.3% to 6.5%. You have Wells Fargo, Barclays, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, all betting it is below 6.5%. And then you have other names like TD Securities, Citibank, and Scotiabank, with Credit Suisse betting 6.5 or more. This is definitely going to shift the market one way or the other. Speaking of that, US banks are getting ready for shrinking profits and a recession heading into the earnings season. Banks are projecting lower profits amidst this potential recession, and crypto-friendly bank Silvergate received a $4.3 billion loan from the Federal Home Loan Bank to stave off a bank run. U.S. taxpayers are now officially subsidizing crypto fraud / grift in the first U.S. crypto bailout, all done in plain view. So this is how Liberty dies. And BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with over 10 trillion assets, is starting to lay off employees, who we also know is lending out their shares in AMC. Wells Fargo, once the #1 player in mortgages, is stepping back from the housing market. And Sweden's central banks expects to report a loss of 7.72 billion for just 2022. Shit is about to get real, and shit is about to hit the fan. Before we get into more DD and some AMC numbers, if you guys want 15 free stocks and a chance to win $60,000, download Moomoo on your phone or computer using my link in the top comments or in the description down below to do so. Once you deposit a penny, you're going to get a free stock, and then the more deposits you make, you will get more free stocks from Moomoo. It's free money. Again, my link will be pinned in the top comments or in the description. Binance garners court approval to acquire bankrupt firm Voyager Digital. That's right, guys. Could Voyager be rising from the dead due to Binance? Or could this be a part of another just big crypto fraud scheme? Speaking of that, FTX has recovered more than $5 billion worth of liquid cryptocurrencies, other investments, and cash. Now, stay tuned, right? Because an hour later, Hong Kong to restrict retail traders to liquid currencies only. Hong Kong to restrict only retail traders to only liquid currencies after FTX recovered $5 billion worth of liquid cryptocurrencies. Is this a conflict of interest? You guys let me know down below what you think is going on there. Saudi Arabia will establish a firm to invest in mining assets globally. The new firm will invest in iron ore, copper, nickel, and lithium. The rush for elements is on. Speaking of that, Zimbabwe's gold output reached a new record high of 35.38 tons in 2022, and they introduced gold coins in 2022 to help restore faith in its currency. Gold is a true base layer of the global financial system. Never forget, guys, that AMC holds a stake in HYMC, which is a mineral mining company that could do substantially well going forward. And the CEOs at Canada's largest bank says tens of thousands of Canadians could default on mortgages due to rising rates, tens of thousands. This comes as the vacancy rate at Canadian office buildings are at a record high. And finally, some Ortex numbers. AMC reporting a 21.6% short interest utilization back to 100%. Cost to borrow 293%, and the average 274. As for APE, 7.07% short interest with a very low cost to borrow at 8.6%. GameStop on Stock Tracker is reporting 40,000 shares available to borrow at the most recent fee of 20%. And again, 500,000 call contracts out of the money for the January 20th expiration. My best bet is that right now they're planning something behind the scenes to make AMC and GameStop tank before that time period, but just brace yourselves, because if it doesn't tank, we are going to the moon. As for the S&P 500, I said about a week ago, this is something that could play out, and you're seeing it play out literally to a T. If the CPI estimate comes out decent tomorrow, I think the SPY rallies all the way up to 400 and absolutely gets slapped the days following that. I don't see the SPY breaking 400 at all. If it comes up to 400, that's the max, in my opinion, before spotting a new low. I still think we have to find a new low. Now, the Fed appears to set to raise rates again in February, but by a smaller amount than we saw for March of 2022. The markets estimate that the Fed will most likely raise rates 0.25 percentage points. However, if inflation report and other data points are not encouraging, then the Fed may lean to upping rates by 0.5 percentage basis points. The Fed sees that inflation is falling, but is concerned that services inflation remains too high based on wage pressures. As such, the Fed will be looking at services inflation within the CPI inflation numbers especially closely. The Fed believes that goods inflation and housing costs will likely trend lower in 2023, but they are concerned that service costs will continue to rise if the job market remains relatively hot. Now, the CPI comes out at 8:30 a.m. ET tomorrow, Thursday, January 12 of 2023, so an hour before market open, estimating a mid 6% range, and depending on if it comes out cold or hot, can lean the Fed to raise rates by 0.25 or 0.5 in February. So this is going to essentially trigger where the market is going to go for the second half of January and the first half of February until rates are raised. Now, guys, SPXS is a triple inverse the S&P 500, and I just bought calls on it. I'm risking a small amount of money, and I don't expect you guys to follow my position. But in my opinion, I think even if CPI comes out good, the market gets a little bit of a pump, it's going to be a temporary pump. I still think the SPY has a way to go for downside. But essentially, guys, that is it. Make sure to join the free Discord while it's free. Get your 15 free stocks using my link. I hope you found value out of the video and can share the video. Get this to 1,000 likes. Hit that subscribe button. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.